Good morning, students. This is me, Dr. Shikha Sharma, lecturer in English at Government Girls College, B.A. Students, in this video, I'll continue the poem. I'll continue the sonnet "When the Assault Was Intended" by John Milton. Lift not thy spear against the muses' war. The great Emathian conqueror bid spare the house of Pindarus, when temple and tower went to the ground, and the repeated air of said Electra's poet had the power to save the Athenian walls from ruin bare. In this sonnet, John Milton requests the royal officer to protect his house from any harm or destruction. Now, in this stanza, he gives examples of old warriors who had respected poets and had shown great consideration to their poetry. So, on the basis of past examples, the poet wants that the royalist officer should save him from danger or any harm. Lift not thy spear against the muses' bar. Muses' bar. Muses' bar means the house of the poet. Okay. Lift not thy spear. The poet appeals the royal officer not to raise weapon to destroy his house, not to raise any weapon to harm or to destroy his house. The great Emathian conqueror bid spare. Now, he gives an example of a great Emathian conqueror, who is Alexander the Great. He says that when Alexander the Great captured the city of Thebes, he gave strict orders to spare the house of Pindar in which he lived. Actually, the great Emathian conqueror will spare the house of Pindars in general attack of Thebes by Alexander. When Alexander attacked on Thebes, all the buildings, towers, and temples were went to the ground. Okay, so the great Emathian conqueror will spare the house of Pindar when the temple and tower went to the ground and the repeated air of said Electra's poet. Okay, so Milton says that when in general attack of Thebes by Alexander, all the buildings, towers, and temples were razed to the ground, but only the house of the great poet Pindar was spared. The house of the Pindar was not affected by attack. He was saved. The house of the Pindar was completely saved. When Alexander the Great captured the city, okay, then he gave strict orders to leave the house of Pindar. Okay, so by giving this example, John Milton requests the officer that just as Alexander spared his house, the house of Pindar, you also leave my house. Okay, you also leave my house. Or he also appeals to not to destroy his house or not to take his house, to save his house from any harm. He appeals, he requests the officer to save his house from any harm. He appeals to not to demolish his house. And the repeated air of said Electra's poet had the power to save the Athenian walls from ruin bare. Now, Milton gives one more example of Lysander, the great Sparta leader. When the Spartans defeated the Athenians in 404 BC, then Electra was recited. And after hearing this tragedy by famous Athenian poet, they gave up the idea of demolishing Athens. Okay. So, by giving these two examples from ancient history, Milton pleads for the protection of his house. Just as Alexander the Great or Lysander spared the house of the famous poets, as they spared the house of the famous poets. So Milton also wants his house to be spared in respect of the poets. Okay. Now, when the assault was intended is a sonnet, is a Miltonic sonnet. What is the pattern of Miltonic sonnet? The pattern of Miltonic sonnet is octave and sestet. The sonnet is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. Octave means first 8 lines and sestet last 6 lines. So, what is the rhyme scheme of the sonnet? Come to the rhyme scheme. Okay. The rhyme scheme of this sonnet is A B B A, A B B A, C D C D C D. Look at the rhyme scheme. How? Arms, seize, please, harms. Arms, A. Seize, B. Please, B. And harms, C. Sorry, A. A, B, B, A. Arms, A. Seize, B. Please, B. And harms, A. Charms, these, seize and warms. Charms. Once again, A. These, B. Seize, B. And warms, A. Now come to the next line. Bower, spire, tower and air. Bower. C. Spire, D. Tower, C. Air, D. Power, C. And bear, D. So, what is the rhyme scheme? A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, C, D, C, D, C, D. Arms, A. Seize, B. Please, B. And harms, A. Harms, arms, harms and then charms. So, this is, once again, this is A. Seize, please and these, B. Then seize, B. And warms, A. A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A. Bower, C. Spare, D. Tower, C. And air, D. Once again, bower, tower and then power, C. And then bear, D. So, this is the rhyme scheme of this sonnet. This is a Miltonic sonnet and it is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. The rhyme scheme of the octave part is A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, and the rhyme scheme of the sestet part is C, D, C, D, and C, D. Okay, thank you.